cancel them, skip the legal process, and throw them in jail because they're annoying.
Did you realize that you are incredibly annoying too? Shut the fuck up, man. Welcome everyone, welcome to Anti-Reviews, where we review the reviewer. Oh boy, everyone ready for YMS to shit on The Flash? A movie which was actually good and doesn't deserve to be shat on? Haha, I sure am. And to save us all some sanity, I'm gonna hopefully skip through most of the stupid bullshit that he says and just actually focus on the interesting parts. Wouldn't that be cool? I'll have the nitpick and the valid criticism counter here, so I'll be able to give him the nitpicks without you having to see them, I guess, if they're terrible. But they're probably gonna be relevant, so we'll see. Anyways, we're gonna... Hopefully my video will not be as long as his video, and I'll just quickly respond to the valid points, but who knows, maybe it will be. So, get hyped, everyone.
So I just saw The Flash, and it was actual torture.
Haha, how unfunny, that was the wrong movie name. Haha, I am YMDS. Also, I hate movies. The Flash, torture? Yes, that is serious opinion. Ignore the fact that most people will enjoy this movie. It is torture to this poor man. This poor man is forced to endure movies that people like. How will he ever live his life?
Now, some of you might already know that I'm not exactly a huge...
Am I yelling too much? Did I peak? Whatever. You deserve it at this point. No, at this point, I just started. I'm already peaking. I'm already heated. Whatever, let's keep going.
Huge fan of superhero movies, and within superhero movies, I'm not exactly a huge fan of the...
Yeah, this part is mostly pointless. Let's get over this.
The viral marketing for this film has also been really, really weird.
Don't care.
Is the movie publicly at...
Stephen King, I don't give a shit about. Here earlier we have... Tom Cruise thinks this is the kind of movie we need. Hell yeah, based. Yep.
5% once the film got released and people actually saw it and the ratings naturally went down. A Flash Film News Twitter account that is apparently not affiliated with Warner Brothers but is paying for verification is now coping and saying that the negative reviews are review bombs. Yeah, that's totally how it works. The people who want to lower the film's audience score just patiently wait until the film's released for some reason. Not people who actually saw the movie. It's totally not the obsessive superfans that are rating the film positively before it's released. No, that couldn't be the case. That's never happened before. Now,
I mean, I don't know. Is that possible? Can they review it when it's not out? Maybe. But maybe it was out in another country and then they liked it there. I don't know. Possible too. Who cares? Like, the point is the audience score is still pretty high, so maybe that should count for something, Mr. YMS.
Naturally, there are tons of people on social... The Flash movie. Now, I could understand this clip a bit better if we were talking about something like Marriage Story, where a bunch of people who hadn't seen the movie were clowning on a clip that took place about 2/3 through the film. Like, wow, how overdramatic this scene is, even though they had zero context for all the character development and build-up that took place before that. But the people clowning on The Flash are criticizing how awful the visual effects look, which, if shot on a cell phone and uploaded with shitty compression onto Twitter, would actually help the look of the film. Have you ever tried to...
So, what is he talking about here? Where is this... So this tweet here specifically, not sure why this needs to be said, but the TikTok videos shot on cell phone in movie theaters are not indicative of the actual quality. So what's the actual clip we're seeing here?
TikTok videos shot on a cell phone in a movie theater are not indicative of...
Okay, then he's shooting Superman on the cell phone, so is this clip unrelated? So what is he even talking about? Are these the clips that we're gonna see? Are these the clips here? Like, was this entire part of the movie uploaded to Twitter? I don't know.
Shot on a cell phone and uploaded with shitty compression onto Twitter would actually help the look of the film? Have you ever tried to watch an old Pixar movie in 4K? A higher resolution and cleaner image makes visual effects look worse, not better. The less detail you can see, the less you can see how bad it is. The low resolution and...
I mean, I don't know if that's true. I don't know. Maybe those Maybe Toy Story always looked weird and we just didn't realize it, you know? Like, if you just see it, like, blurred, is that better? Like, I guess it looks better than all the other low-resolution movies that you might have seen back then. But if we saw it in cinemas, it was high resolution then too, right? So it must have looked like it did in that clip here, right? Oh my god, look at that dog. Look at that foot. Alright, whatever.
Poor quality images are doing the Flash a favor, because a high resolution and clear image makes the bad effects look worse. If the texture...
I mean, I can't really see that much of a difference here. It's probably the YouTube the YouTube upload making it also blurred, so whatever. Not really seeing his point here much. Like, I mean, yeah, would it hide some bad effects? Maybe.
Still look like PS3 graphics when it's shot through a fucking phone and uploaded to Twitter. That means the effects are really bad. That means the effects are horrendous. What even is this cope? On the Thursday of the film's release, the director Andy Muschietti got interviewed by IO9, and supposedly he was asked why the visual effects look bad. And when I say supposedly, I mean the source article on Gizmodo does not at all say how they phrased their question. So director Andy Muschietti answers by saying, "The idea, of course, is we are in the perspective of the Flash. Everything is distorted in terms of lights and textures. We enter this water world, which is basically being in Barry's POV. It was part of the design, so if it looks a little weird to you, that was intended."
I mean, I'm pretty impressed how that director is spinning around there, you know, and looking real cool while he said that. It's pretty good.
Okay, so Andy Muschietti's response here was really sneaky and deceptive, and I'm gonna explain why. When his response talks about things like, oh, this is a part of Barry's POV, it's like a water world where everything is distorted with different lights and textures, it's a part of the design, it's intentional. What he is talking about is this weird, wavy, distorted orange filter whenever the Flash goes slow-mo. Or fast, I guess. Everything else goes slow-mo. The director gave a non-answer by pretending the question was about something else. He's not talking about the shitty-looking character models, which he was obviously asked about because his sister gave a joke answer talking about the babies before he responded. The character models of the babies look like shit before the Flash.
What? The babies looked fine. What are you talking about? And like, if you're saying, oh, it like the thing here doesn't make sense. Wait, like here? If you're saying like this is very different here.
Weird, wavy, distorted, or
like if you're looking at it here, like the way he moves here looks particularly video gamey. So I actually think this response here has some validness, but I don't know. It's pretty hard to tell.
Joke answer talking about the babies before he responded. Them. That is obviously not through his perspective. Andy, they were clearly not asking about the obvious Waterworld POV shit. You sneaky boy! The excuse wouldn't be that bad if it were just
sneaky. All right. Well, I don't know. I guess I'm like 50-50 on whether I slightly agree with him here. So should I give him valid? Okay, I'm giving him valid because it actually does. And, you know, he does not use that effect as much. So, like, most of the effects people complain about are not from his point of view. So, well done. You're getting a valid criticism, even if I pressed the wrong button there briefly.
More consistent. Like, if it only ever looked that bad when he was in the time travel kaleidoscope spinning room area, then sure, it would still be really convenient that it just looks like PS3 graphics and that's exactly how you wanted it to look, and it would still be cope, but at least it would be consistent. At least you'd be able to convince some people that you're being serious when you say that. But instead, it's just most of the action scenes? Oh, it looks awful. Could you imagine if all of the money that they spent on viral marketing this piece of shit went towards finishing the visual effects? Could you even imagine? There's plenty of examples of characters who look perfectly fine while he's doing the time thing and it's clearly through his perspective. Whatever, I guess that's still enough for some people to continue riding the cope train.
I mean, okay, that's pretty weird. So yeah, I guess if only they hadn't bothered marketing the movie, then I guess it would have looked better somehow. Okay, I mean whatever. If you think so, then maybe, but also maybe nobody would have seen it then without marketing.
Guys, the director said that the bad effects were supposed to look bad, okay? It's just a coincidence that the character models look like a PS3 game. And only some of them. And also when it's not through his perspective. And this only affects human character models and not backgrounds or...
Okay, I guess. You know what? I'm doing the unthinkable here and giving him another valid criticism, because now that you're highlighting these things do look kind of PlayStation 3-ish, you know, that those models that you put out there in these specific shots, I guess they do look weird, and I haven't noticed it then. But can you stop acting like we give a shit about this? Like, can you stop pretending that anyone is watching this movie and he's like, oh yeah, that looks a little off, and then that's like, oh yeah, that movie was actually torture because those few effects were weird, you know? Those faces, they didn't look real enough. Bad movie, you know? But yeah, you got a valid point again. Good job.
Any other objects with simple textures for some reason. And it's only some of the humans. And it only affects the babies and not this woman for some reason. Yeah, it's intentional, everybody. See, it's good. It's an artistic choice that just so happens to look like it's an unfinished movie. What's the big deal? The movie can't be bad because I've attached my entire identity to this franchise, and if it's bad, that means I'm bad. It can't be this way.
I mean, like, it's not bad just because, like, the effects aren't great. Get over it.
People make fun of the movie, that means they're making fun of me! Ah! Somebody please validate me! It's all I have! Oh boy! Also, I don't care how gently you're setting those babies down, their brains would be fucking scrambled.
Okay, we did it! We got the first nitpick. You know, you lasted quite a while, but, you know... You almost did it. Nope, that was the wrong button. Yeah, you almost did it. You almost got 7 minutes in. Well, we are at 6:16, but yeah, the babies would have died because things were fast. Okay, thanks. Shut up.
They were falling at terminal velocity. Speaking of hilarious reporting surrounding this film, the production designer for the film was interviewed by CBC and asked about Ezra Miller's crimes. People will forget that, he said. And I guess he probably should have just said no comment, because other publications turned that response into a story of its own. Now, I'm not gonna waste your time going into detail about every single thing Ezra did or has been
Why, thank you. That's so kind of you.
Accused of doing assault, breaking and entering, grooming, burglary, harassment, a whole bunch of shit that they just can't seem to get under control. At the very least, they should probably just stay out of Hawaii. Maybe just calm down and stop jeopardizing your career. It's honestly a real wonder why this movie was even released, especially with the Warner Discovery merger canceling Batgirl entirely, which supposedly was finished and they just decided to cancel for a tax write-off or something. You might as well have just replaced him with another actor, especially if all the visual effects are gonna look so awful anyway.
What are you fucking talking about? Oh yeah, I couldn't stand it because the effects were bad. Should have put more bad effects in. Shut the fuck up.
Army of the Dead replaced Chris D'Elia with Tig Notaro. All the Money in the World replaced Kevin Spacey with Christopher Plummer.
Yeah, that's lame, and it's good they didn't do that. Fuck off.
It's a real fuck it, why not situation, but for some reason it's just so important that Ezra Miller is playing this character, because they're so funny and such a great actor.
Yeah, it's too bad, huh? It's really a tragedy when they actually use what they got, you know? It sure is too bad when they didn't just bend. It's just too bad they didn't just get cancelled, you know, and delete all his work. Yeah, what a shame, huh? How will you ever live without this person getting cancelled? And yeah, okay, you used the right pronouns and I didn't, who cares?
Now, some of you already know that I found Ezra Miller's portrayal of the Flash to be absolutely excruciatingly painful even before their controversies. So crimes or no crimes, they stink, they're annoying.
Yeah, okay, so if he's gonna call him annoying, I'm gonna give him a nitpick each time, alright? So, like, you're not even doing anything here. Like, it's just your opinion that he's annoying. Like, most people didn't mind. In fact, a lot of people were hyped to see him come back, so... yeah, that's a nitpick each time.
They shouldn't be in this movie, probably not in any other movie, except they were maybe fine in After School. Maybe I should rewatch it. They were a child. They were pretty good for a child actor, I guess. It is so irritating how awful and lame and unfunny their performance
Another one! Nitpick, hooray!
is throughout the entire fucking movie.
Wait, he's Batman?
Wait, he's Batman?
This is mad trippy.
This is mad trippy. I hate it!
Yeah, well, too bad, you know? Your tears give me joy right now. Like, Jesus. He is so relatable, and I actually enjoy his voice there a lot. And it's too bad, you know, that you can't enjoy it, but shut the fuck up about it!
Crimes or no crimes, they are unbearable! Wait,
Wah! I can't stand this voice! Wah!
he's Batman? They should be canceled and put in jail because they're a bad actor. Cancel them, skip the legal process, and throw them in jail because they're annoying.
Did you realize that you are incredibly annoying too?
When I was watching the Snyder Cut, I came up with my own coping mechanism. Basically, anytime Ezra Miller was on the screen, I imagined it as Nathan Fielder instead. The scenes were a lot more bearable, instead imagining it was Nathan Fielder delivering those lines.
You are so weird and stupid. What is wrong with you?
His presence on screen was still a much-needed breath of fresh air after watching what felt like a fucking hour of two Ezra Millers acting off of no one but themselves.
I don't even know how you can live with yourself. This is so fucking stupid. Okay, so I gave you a nitpick for saying that the guy wasn't acting as well as in the other movie, because what the fuck? And then you're still on about this. You're still complaining about the actor in the movie. You could have just not watched the fucking movie if you are so goddamn triggered by this.
So there's time travel in the movie because the Flash ran really fast after thinking about his dead mom, and I guess this was the first time he ever ran while he was upset or something. Kind of just stumbled into the ability to make time go backward.
Hey, that's a nitpick, baby! How fucking stupid are you? Oh yeah, wow, he got this ability now. Why didn't he get this ability earlier? Yes, this is valid criticism. Shut the fuck up, YMS, you're so stupid. What is this? How are you like this? Whatever, you're only just ramping up to get to this point, but it's already pissing me off. Like, can you just make good points?
It's because if you run faster than the speed of light and you go back in time, it doesn't make any sense, but whatever.
It doesn't make sense! Wow, you can't travel by going fast? I don't know, man. In Back to the Future, they only had to go 88 miles. I don't know, it seems fine.
Is also kind of what happened in the Justice League or Snyder Cut when the Flash runs so fast he enters the Speed Force, and it's like an actual attempt to run as fast as possible because they're like, oh, the world's gonna die or something, and so you have to run as fast as you ever can. I'm just gonna do this, and otherwise we get the anti-life equation or something.
Just gotta go faster than the speed of light, far beyond the speed of light. You gotta break the rule, Barry, and you gotta do it now.
So at the end of the Justice League, he had to run to turn back time, and he ran as fast as he possibly could to save the day. But in this movie, he seems surprised that he's able to do it. It also looks and functions very differently than what was shown in Justice League, and, you know, that's fine. There's creative liberty to kind of make this movie your own thing and all that. But not only does that make things inconsistent with what is ostensibly supposed to be the same timeline and universe as the Justice League, but the way that the Speed Force now functions in this particular film is just so broken and...
Okay, so you're already getting a nitpick for that thing where you even brought up that it's different from the other movie. Like, come the fuck on. But let's see what your actual point is.
And stupid, it's infuriating. Rather than the Flash running really fast through a physical space where time starts going backwards in front of him, he instead enters a special zone that is just not really anywhere. And if he continues to do his running motion in this place, then time keeps going backwards, but only really events that he's personally witnessed. So he goes backwards in time by 1 day and sticks his head into the thing, and he's like, oh, this is when I was saving the babies from falling. And then then we just cut to him having a conversation with Batman, just completely ignoring how he got out of that time-traveled zone place. And Batman's like, yeah, you know, the speed of light, you could go backwards in time if you're fast enough. That's how it works, but just don't touch anybody or else the butterfly effect, I guess. So the Flash goes back into the Speed Force a second time, and he figures if he moves a can of tomatoes into his mother's shopping cart, then his dad won't have to go to the grocery store to pick them up later, and then his mom won't be killed because whoever killed her probably looked into the window beforehand to see if there was a dad home. So during this second sequence of him going back through time, it shows a bunch of what I guess he would consider to be major life events, some things that happened in the other movies. The time travel is basically like a highlights reel, I guess. You skip a lot of him sleeping and the boring stuff. He moves the tomatoes and then goes super...
Huh, do you think he just doesn't see the parts where he's not awake? Huh. Well, I guess they just did that because it was boring. Yeah, whatever.
Fast again, but now he's going forward through time? I thought the whole
Wow, that is so crazy. That's a critical hit of nitpicks there. The fact that he's running the wrong direction. Holy shit.
idea was that if you go so fast, then time goes backwards because you're faster than the speed of light or whatever bullshit nonsense that they were trying to say. Why is time going forwards now? Like, obviously it's so that this version of the Flash can experience life with his mom still alive and see what that would be like, rather than him just hanging out in real time for like 10, 15 years, I guess. Doesn't time moving super fast from his perspective imply that he's going really slow? If you're going forward in time by like 10 or 15 years in the span of a minute, is he just hibernating somewhere or what? It doesn't matter. Just don't think about it. If you run fast, then time goes backwards. And also, if you run fast, then time goes forwards also.
This is so fucking stupid. Like, what do you fucking expect here? What on earth are you talking about? So I guess we just can't have the movie. I guess he just can't travel back in time and then come back into the future again, huh? I guess that's just not allowed. Like, how are you gonna have rules here? Like, how are you gonna say it's gonna work? Oh no, he would just be sitting there hibernating. Shut the fuck up, man. Okay, that's another 2 nitpicks for that one. I don't know. That was really stupid, man. You should be ashamed.
Flash's powers aren't so much super speed anymore. It's just, oh, he can do whatever he wants. He's a god. It's a broken character. There's no real rule.
Oh my god. Oh, it's a broken character. Yeah, man. Like, what? Like, time travel and be fast? It's literally a god, man. Like, unprecedented. Surely that's not what he does in the comics or whatever, right? I don't know. I wouldn't read the comics, but like I know he's been able to time travel, right? I mean, I've seen him in cartoons, and those are more like the comics, so I'm just gonna say it. He was always able to time travel. Shut the fuck up. He's a broken character because he can do things? Holy shit! He's a literal god. He's Rick Sanchez, baby. This is nothing. You are bad at your job. These are bad criticisms.
To what he can do, whatever, fuck it. So right when he gets to the point of time where it's his 18th birthday, somebody punches him out of the time zone and he's like, oh, I'm on the ground now. I'm in the actual time and not this purgatory weird thing. He falls in front of his old house, so he gets up and looks around and steals some old people's clothes so that he can go inside the house and say hi to his mom without her being like, why are you wearing a superhero costume? Wait, he's Batman? And then they hang out and it's like, yay, my mom's not dead and my dad's not in jail. When he hugs his mom again for the first time and says, I love you so much, he's essentially doing this Tim Heidecker smirk. Like, obviously it's unintentional and Ezra Miller just cannot act.
I love you so much.
Yeah, dude, like, if someone's just, like, weirdly autistic, that just means he can't act, you know? Like, there's no way that this character would make an inappropriate expression. Oh my god, what? That's a nitpick right there.
Is that digital? Is that a digital tear? Yeah, that's a fucking digital effect. It literally appears in one frame. The one frame different, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's funny, but it's still a nitpick.
Yeah, it doesn't leave a trail, and it just kind of disappears into their nostril.
My tears are rendered weirdly too, okay? I relate.
It's such a dumb face. They sit and eat at the dinner table, and they have dinner, and it's a nice little family moment, and then Barry sees out the window that the other Barry is coming home, and he's like, oh no! But if the time zone was only things that were happening through his own perspective, then why did he appear in front of his house instead of at school where Barry was? Everything that was shown in the time travel thing was clearly from your perspective and based on your own personal life event.
This is crazy to me that you're that fucking nitpicky. Wow. I thought for sure that you would be way better than Mauler, but like these are a lot of nitpicks right now. He appeared in the wrong place after being kicked out of the time vortex. Unthinkable!
So if the second Barry wasn't at this location at this time, then you should have spawned somewhere else. When you poked your head out the
Spawned.
first time, you spawned in midair right in front of yourself. Why not somewhere else? He only spawned in front of his house so that he could spend time with his family there and that we didn't have to think about the other Barry until much, much later in the...
Yes, what a sin. What a cinema sin. Oh my god, they took a slight liberty so we can have a plot that's more enjoyable. Grasping at straws. How could they do such a thing?
day, even though that's not how any of this worked before.
It didn't work like that. Oh my god. Okay, my throat is killing me. I'm yelling at this guy so much, and he is so stupid, and I have to use this cough drop so my throat doesn't murder me, okay? Yep.
But okay. So he runs outside to shut himself up so that his parents never find out there's two of him. He hangs out with himself and is like, yo, this is when I got powers, and also this is a wild coincidence, but this is the exact day that you're supposed to get your powers. So the first Barry is like, oh god, we gotta get you to the place where I get my powers, otherwise I won't have my powers. Which doesn't make any fucking sense because obviously this is not the same Barry that you are, otherwise you would have a memory of this. It's not the same.
I mean, okay, that's a nitpick again, because, like, yes, it's obviously not the same Barry, but you still would want there to be a Flash in this reality, wouldn't you? Like, okay, it's not literally him, but it still makes sense that you'd want to have him have powers. Stupid YMS.
Same timeline. What are you talking about? So they go to the building.
Yeah, what are you talking about, man? You want powers for this superhero? Ridiculous.
Where he gets his powers. Thing 1 carries Thing 2 and phase shifts both of them through a wall, which is another power that I guess is explained by him just being really fast. Like, he vibrates his own molecules fast enough that they go through other molecules. If your molecules are moving so fast that you're phase shifting through solid matter, how are you carrying a person? You should be phase shifting through them as well. Why are you not falling through the floor? Later in the film.
I mean, that's actually kind of interesting to think about, and I didn't think about it, but that's still a fucking nitpick. Do you have no goddamn shame? Like, why aren't your clothes falling off? Like, really, man? Like, obviously, if he's starting to wiggle like that, he's obviously going to transfer his power, his motion of wiggling back and forth onto whatever he's touching, you know? Except for the floor, obviously, because he's using his feet to achieve this, so he's actually counteracting it with the floor. I'm glad I could clear that up for you. I'm giving you 2 more nitpicks, because that was another critical hit there, okay? I can't believe you did this to yourself and your audience. Oh, he should have fallen through the floor. Nice. You're such a good guy. You're so good at your job. Like, wow, he should have fallen through the floor, guys.
They make a really half-assed attempt to try and explain it by just saying, like, oh, he's just really good at it. Because Barry number 2 gets his powers and accidentally falls through the floor. Like, you just gotta be good at it, and then it makes sense, right? So I guess...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Guess he moved his feet wrong. What do you want, man?
The older Barry is just so good at it that he is able to selectively decide which parts of his body are vibrating that fast and not all of his body, which still doesn't make any sense because wouldn't your molecules just fall through themselves?
Yep, they would just fall through themselves. Yeah, man, yeah, like your powers don't make sense. You would just implode and stop existing, baby. Shut the fuck up.
Like, if everything above your ankle was vibrating so fast that it was phase shifting, but everything below your ankle wasn't, wouldn't your body still fall through the floor and your foot, and then all that's left would just be a pair of feet? I guess I should probably mention to some people that might be confused, these weird logical superhero movie impossibilities aren't the reason why this film is bad. It's not like you fix these issues
and yet you are here, and these are the things you're talking about, and you're trying to explain to us why this movie is bad, and all you got is this fucking pointless shit, you know? So, like, you better have a really good explanation right here.
Suddenly the movie's just fun. This is still an unbearably annoying torture film. It is unfunny and lazy. The acting sucks. It is poorly written in many other ways. So yeah, I have fun thinking about these dumb, stupid time travel, physics, nonsense things in these movies because the movie itself is not fun at all. If the movie was consistent with itself and its own rules, then yes, that would be a positive thing to mention about it, but it would not suddenly make the other artistic choices in this film any less terrible.
Like, you're bringing up the inconsistency of rules as one of the first things, and one of the most important, one of the things that take up the most time here. First, you talked about how the models didn't look good, which is a stupid-ass nitpick, and now you're talking about how the superpowers would probably kill you and decapitate your feet and whatever, and you still haven't brought up anything that makes really a lot of sense. You haven't made any valid points here, except for the two that I already forgot about. And you keep complaining about how you can't stand Ezra Miller, despite you going to see a movie with Ezra Miller.
I do really respect when an artist creates something that they truly care about, and it is clear that this is a factory movie making corporate decisions over artistic ones.
You were just talking about how you wanted him to appear in school because it would make more sense, instead of the artistic thing where he appears where he would have the most emotional impact. So can you cut it out, maybe? Like, can you act like this would make any difference whether or not this is... Like, can you even stop acting like this is even remotely related to artistic reasoning here? Oh yeah, his feet would fall off, man. That's my artistic expression, is he dies when he uses his superpower, man. That's how shit works, man. Like, that's a real artistic movies where his feet fall off, man.
Anyway, there's a scene where the second Barry needs to phase shift through a manhole, and he's not as good at it as the first Barry, so he kind of clips on the manhole as he's going through it.
I need you to do that again.
Wouldn't his head, like, detach? If the rest of his body is phase shifting...
You are still doing it. You are such an embarrassment. That's another critical hit. Oh, he would have been decapitated, baby. Oh, boy.
Other than his head, then his head should be detached. And if his whole body stopped phase...
Yeah, thank you for this animation. Well done.
...is shifting for his...
This is the movie we deserve. This is artistic expression, is him being decapitated. Well done. You are so... You're killing it right now, man. And by it, I mean Ezra Miller.
Second, then would there not be a piece of metal inside his throat right now?
Yeah, man, he should totally walk around like that from now on. Good choice, man. So artistic, man.
Like, what's the difference between making full contact with the manhole cover to the point where you've hit your head on it versus carrying a beer or...
You know what? I'm gonna do the thing I said. I'm gonna save you guys the time by skipping through this stupid ass bullshit about the powers now. You know? Gonna get to some part where he makes a good point. You know? Finally gonna engage with something interesting.
And they both get struck by the lightning bolt, so Barry 2 gets powers, and Barry 1 loses his powers for absolutely no reason.
For absolutely no reason, dude. That's another nitpick. Well done. Good job.
It's like a switch you can turn off, I guess. So they escape the place, and then they have a conversation, and the first Barry is like, yo, I don't have powers anymore, but you do. How am I gonna get back without my powers? Even though I guess there is no getting back, really. You just go forward in time. You want to go do the Speed Force thing to make time go faster. So the second Barry's like, I have powers? Wait, he's Batman?
Wait, he's Batman?
The second Barry gets really excited and runs really fast, and his clothes light on fire, and he falls in front of a truck. For some reason, he can run fast, but he can't get up really fast, which goes against everything else shown in the film.
No, it doesn't, and you're stupid. Like, obviously this is how superheroes work. Like, if you hit them, then they're not gonna have like, oh yeah, that hit me, but I'm actually super fast, so that hit didn't count. Shut the fuck up, man. Like, can we have a movie, please? Like, obviously, if he's gonna get hit by a truck or fall over really hard or be set on fire, then he's not gonna be able to use his powers fully. Imagine that. Is that blowing your mind? It should, because that's how movies work.
He's just getting up like a normal human being would as this truck almost runs him over. If you can canonically change your clothes and do a bunch of other tasks really fast, then you don't have to be running to do fast things. And yet, when it seems to matter most, he is not getting up fast at all. There were a lot of really...
Yeah, dude, how could this guy who just got his powers be bad at using his powers? That's so bizarre, man. Insane.
Bad music choices in this film.
Oh boy, bad music choices. Now we're really gonna get into the deep reasons for why this movie is bad.
Barry, too, is running really fast because he is excited about his new powers. He gets lit on fire, and the CG is really, really, really bad. And as this is happening, the soundtrack just cuts to the very end of the William Tell Overture, a piece of classical music that's probably been pretty overused in movies and trailers, but they're playing just the very end of it without any sort of build-up whatsoever. It's a really jarring and pointless soundtrack choice.
It sounded fine. You're weird. That's another nitpick.
Pretty much every song choice in this entire film feels like it was just added in as an afterthought. There's several scenes where the licensed song choices just ooze out this feeling of trying to be cool. Like,
yeah, those are some strange choices they made there. I guess those scenes weren't like as epic as the songs, but also who cares? You know what? I don't agree with it, but that is a valid criticism. Those are some strange choices. Okay, you did it. You're still at a terrible ratio with nitpicks and valid criticisms, but can't say no to that one. I can say I disagree with it being bad, but it is trying to be cool. I think it's a cool movie, but those choices don't really help it that much. So yeah.
Guys, this is a cool scene, right? The song's cool, so the scene's probably cool too, right? What's happening in the movie's cool, right? Right? So
I mean, I'm just seeing that and I'm thinking, holy shit, he could just like run into a wall and die, So to me that scene wasn't that cool, and then that music song, that music choice was strange too. But yeah, I mean, it's still a fun movie, so deal with it.
Then Zod shows up, played by Michael Shannon. This is a thing that happened in Man of Steel, the Superman movie. So now they decide that they need to find the rest of the Justice League so that they can stop Zod from doing the evil, bad things and killing people. So they go to the second Barry's house and do some Google searches. They're unable to find Wonder Woman. They search Aquaman's real name and they find his dad. And it's the same dad from the Aquaman movie. It's the same actor. But for some reason, Aquaman doesn't exist and the guy just has a dog and lives a normal life.
I completely broke the universe.
So then they find out that Batman exists, so they go to Batman's house. But it turns out Batman is, he's got long hair that's covering his face, and there's a really lame fight scene, and they fight each other. There's some really cool music that plays during the fight scene, so you know how cool it is.
Yeah, that was pretty strange how the music was so cool. But you already said that, so you already got a point for that.
Man, it's a classic rock song. Thank you. This movie's cool now. And then at the end of the fight scene...
Yeah, it's too bad you hate music so much, It's popular music? No way, don't have that in the movie.
It's Michael Keaton. You can see his face now. So yeah, the fact that his face was covered the entire time leads me to believe that this was initially supposed to be a surprise, I guess? Before the marketing strategy turned to, hey, this is actually a Batman movie. You don't have to watch it just for Ezra Miller. You can watch it for Batman, please. So now Batman makes spaghetti and they talk about why time isn't doing the things that they want, and Batman's like, okay, so you thought that you were just changing the future, but you all
Wait, that was actually another nitpick where it was like, oh yeah, his face was covered. Like, nobody cares.
also changed the past.
When you go back and change the past, you create a fulcrum. You change the future, and you change the past. New future, new path.
Is it really that difficult to not just keep this whole butterfly effect thing situated to events that took place after he changed the timeline? Because if we're gonna start making excuses by saying like, oh, when you change one thing, then that actually changes everything beforehand too, then why did him moving the tomato can save his mom anyway if everything's just fucking random? Do you know how many fucking variables there are if we're gonna say that everything before that is also different in random ways that aren't even affected by him doing the thing that changed the timeline? Basically nothing matters in the movie, everything's just random and
That was actually a good point. You did it. In fact, that point may have even been, you know what, I'm counting that for 2 good points, you know? Because that was actually really weird. Did I press the wrong button? I did, didn't I? Yeah, that was really weird that they did that, you know? Like, changing the past changes the past before then as well. That was a stupid choice. But also, I guess they really needed it so that otherwise they wouldn't be able to... Like, it needs to break everything, you know? You can't just change the past, even if you would just change... If you would just save your mom. Nope. You also erased Aquaman. Deal with it. I don't know. It could work, but it's a really stupid choice. So, good job, YMS.
doesn't exist for any particular reason. There's no stakes. Barry's a fucking god or something. There's no real conflict because everything's random and he can travel through time and just whatever needs to happen will just happen. It doesn't matter why. So Batman is very informed on how multiverses work.
Some strands run almost parallel. There will be inevitable intersections, and others that are just wildly divergent.
He doesn't really explain why he's so confident about this. He just knows things. Like, did you time travel before, Batman? No, you know, this is just, everybody knows this.
He's just the best detective, you know? He knows.
This is how multiverses work. They taught us this in school in this universe, duh. And then the second Barry finds out that he's Batman.
He's Batman?
So they phase shift down into the Batcave because Batman doesn't want to help, so they're just gonna use his stuff without him. Then the two Barrys have a really cringeworthy argument and they're yelling at each other, and the film is seriously implying that Ezra Miller can act. It's very embarrassing.
Where? I don't like this actor. Where? Oh my god, shut the fuck up.
And the first Barry throws up, and it's really, really bad looking CG vomit.
What a crazy ass nitpick. Oh my god, the vomit looks weird. No way. And then you don't even have the balls to show us the vomit. So what the fuck is wrong with you?
Which is honestly the best way to describe this whole film. Batman starts flying around and beating people up, and it looks like a whole bunch of really bad CG vomit still. So they find the thing.
Oh no! Oh, it didn't live up to his great standards. Oh. That's another nitpick.
That Superman is being trapped in, but there's a combination to the thing, and so Batman tries hacking it, but then Flash is like, what, you're gonna hack it with a flip phone? Wait, he's Batman? So the Barry 2 with the powers disappears for a fraction of a second and comes back and is like, I tried all the combinations and it worked. Which is kind of dumb because I feel like Barry spending what would feel like an eternity through his perspective trying every single different combination on a full-sized keyboard is not really consistent with his character. Like, does he really have the attention span for that? He's really just gonna do that? To put this into...
It's not that hard, man. It probably just took like a day. Come on, man. What are you doing? There can't be that many combinations. He just got really used to pressing the buttons quickly.
perspective, if this were just a 4-digit number keypad, there would be 10,000 different possible combinations. And the movie shows a full-sized keyboard with Barry saying that he tried all the combinations. Okay, I guess he's just...
Okay, I missed that there was a keyboard there. I guess that does make it a lot more. Well, who knows? Maybe he started with the number combos, you know?
really patient now. Or he got really lucky and he's a liar or something. Now that I think about it, he must have tried every single combination because there was no indication that he got the password right until after he was done doing his time thing. It only unlocked once he stopped, so there would be no way of him knowing if one of the combinations he tried already worked. And
Okay, so that's true, but it's still a nitpick. I guess it wouldn't even have been possible, because, like, if you just press all the buttons, like, I'm pretty sure it locks until... Like, if you press the wrong buttons, you can't just press the right buttons immediately after and it works, because, like, obviously it would have to wait for you to stop pressing buttons so it can evaluate if you press the right buttons. But whatever, you're right. But it's still a nitpick.
I guess the keyboards and computers in this multiverse universe, whatever, are just so advanced and fast that they can detect the actual input coming from the Flash within this split second. All of the thousands to potentially millions or billions or trillions or however many different combinations that they tried, it still registers all of that information somehow, and it's not like somebody just mashed all the keyboard buttons together at the same time. Whatever, it's dumb. Don't think about it. Don't think about this review. Also, just enjoy the review. Turn your brain off.
The review is terrible. You've not made a single good point. You keep acting like you're making good points, but there's also nitpicks. But there's so many nitpicks. You are not doing a good job at this review. You are not the Flash. you are not mostly enjoyable. You're just, like, constantly complaining and crying.
This is a fun review. You will like it. So they open the thing and it's not Superman, it's a girl. Oh no. And they try to escape and the second Barry with the powers gets shot in the knee. So now the stakes are raised. It's serious now because the Flash can't run and that means he can't be fast even though he's done many other things fast that were not running throughout the entire film. Like, fuck, just crawl fast or something. Also...
Yeah, man, just like... Imagine how painful that would be. Just move your injured knee really fast. You're so fucking stupid, YMS. That is another critical hit of just nitpickery. What the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah, you could have crawled real fast while being wounded, man. Like, yeah, man. Like, the Flash powers have nothing to do with your physical ability to move, you know? So stupid. Yeah, man. Like... Just take a bullet and keep running real fast, man. I cannot believe this guy. How does he even... How did he get all these views when this is the best he can do? It's like, actually, that power wouldn't work like that. No.
When he got struck by lightning earlier in the film, he healed immediately, which is how the first Barry noticed that the second Barry got his powers successfully. Why don't you heal immediately now? Anyway, they escape...
I mean, that was a flesh wound, and that looks like it went through the bone. I don't know. You're actually lucky he doesn't heal immediately, because he might heal together wrong. But I guess that's kind of a good point. Ah, fuck. I hate giving you a good point for that, because that's such a minuscule thing. It's like, oh yeah, man. Like, the healing was slightly inconsistent. But whatever, you're right. He probably should be able to heal fast. I don't know if it would work, but it should probably work, considering that it's DC. Like, you wouldn't read a DC comic and then the Flash's knee heals wrong and then he can't run again. So I guess he should have just healed, you know?
Outside, and then they have more fight scene, and the Supergirl is in the fight scene now also, and it looks like a computer-generated vomit. It looks very bad, and the Flash is not doing anything fast in this scene, so you don't have that excuse, Andy. So
yeah, I guess he doesn't have that excuse. I don't think it looks bad, but whatever.
Supergirl is like, I'm not helping you do anything because humans are bad because they put me in the thing. So now they're back at the Batcave and their plan is to...
What are you doing? Why are you doing that voice? That is a valid concern of her, considering that she was locked up in a ball. What the fuck's the matter with you, man? I guess that's a nitpick, even though it's like a big criticism, but entirely wrong.
Douse the first Barry in chemicals and get him struck by lightning so that he can become the Flash again. So they use a Batman-themed lightning rod attached to...
I mean, okay, I'm forgiving your snarky tone there because you don't like superpowers, but I mean, that still makes kind of sense.
To an electrical chair, and it doesn't work, and it just hurts him, but then Supergirl comes back out of nowhere and is like, actually, I know that I said that humans are bad, but I realized it was just some humans who are bad. So she carries him up towards the clouds into the thunderstorm so that he can get electrocuted, and again, it just hurts him, and so he's basically just dying. He should be dead already, but they bring him back down, and Barry number 2 holds his hand, and I guess the electricity from his hand was able to help jumpstart the transformation into the super guy. So his body starts healing himself, and now he's a speedy boy again. So there's a few different ways you can interpret what exactly happened here. One is that the chemicals actually had nothing to do with this whatsoever, and you can just get struck by lightning or touched by the Flash after, and you will become another Flash. Another is that the chemicals did have something to do with it, and
I mean, the chemicals obviously had something to do with it, so you can just forget about that first possibility.
that Barry memorized exactly which chemicals were present when he first got zapped. Either way, it seems like you have a formula to create a superhero. Like, a lot of these superheroes just have random accidents that couldn't possibly be replicated or are born alien or a billionaire. But this is an instance where someone is actively trying to get those powers, and it worked. Like, if Batman wanted to get super flash powers, he could now, right? He could just do that. Like, hey, let's...
I mean, he would risk dying. I'm pretty sure he had to be struck by lightning. And then that last bit helped. I mean, I guess that was just the last amount of electricity it took. I mean, I don't think you can just be touched by the Flash, obviously, because he touches people that don't get superpowers. And, like, the chemicals were necessary, too. So, like, even then, it was still really risky. So, no, I don't think that they would be using this a lot, considering you risk dying trying to do it.
Douse myself in chemicals and then you touch my hand or something. It is kind of dumb and funny. Also, it was really embarrassing that they were using generic, sappy, sad music while they were pretending like the first Barry...
That's another nitpick.
He would die or some shit.
It's working, it's working, it's working. Yeah, he's healing.
Oh no, they want you to feel something? How could this possibly be?
Oh my god, he's okay.
This movie is filled with all of these insincere, pretend emotional beats.
Come on, dude, you don't even accept emotions when he basically died? What the fuck is the problem with you?
And music cues. They're just checking items off of a list. As if this film's goal is to create art in any sense of the word. It's manipulative, it's disgusting, stop doing it. So then they go to fight Zod, and it's in the middle.
What are you fucking talking about? You think that having emotional music is manipulative in this case? Like, wow. Just stop using emotional music? This is your criticism? Oh my god. Like, that might actually be retarded, you know?
Of a desert. Some of these scenes remind me of the trailer for Battle Los Angeles. You know, it's like a spaceship and some army guys. It looks like shit. And then the film's scored.
I mean, that didn't look out of place, so maybe.
Decides to do some weird electronic stuff for the first time in the entire movie, and also never again. Just a very brief choice that is inconsistent with the rest of the film.
Oh no, it's inconsistent. Shut the fuck up.
Come on, Barbie. Let's go party.
The two Flashes are fighting the Kryptonians, and the second Flash gets a cut on his face while he's fighting them. Even though they were wearing two different uniforms and there was no real need to differentiate them like this. Also, Barry's suit has...
Oh, come on. Really? Oh, he got a cut, so I guess that was unnecessary. Because you could totally tell him apart. What the fuck, man? Oh, yeah, like, wow, there's no other way that... Like, that cut wouldn't make any other sense otherwise, dude. Like, when he comes back later as the monstrosity, I think he still has that cut, so that makes sense, but whatever.
Has like a smartwatch thing built into it, and all it does is just tell him when he's hungry. Like, yo, your energy's about to deplete, and then he just eats a chocolate bar. Like, he can't tell when he's hungry? I guess they just needed the visual for the audience.
I mean, yes, our bodies actually are pretty bad at that. Like, most of the time we're hungry, it's just habit. Like, if you always have breakfast, you get hungry when it's morning. If you never have breakfast, you don't get hungry when it's morning. Like, your body doesn't know how many calories are floating around in your blood. No. Thanks, I'm glad I could explain that to you.
It's because it would be weird if he said it out loud. Then the Barrys and the Supergirl and the Batman, they're beating everybody up, and they play some rock music, and it means that it's cool. And so therefore it's a cool scene because they're playing cool music. They fighted the bad guy.
I mean, like, if you don't think that this is cool, then what the fuck are you doing here? Like, you don't like the actor, you don't like the action, you don't like the concept of superheroes fighting. What the fuck are you doing here? How is your criticism valid in any way? Like, you just don't grasp what this movie could possibly do. Like, this is as good a fight as you can get in these movies, you know? What do you want, man?
Then the movie pretends to be really dramatic, and Supergirl gets killed by Zod, and Batman...
Yeah, pretends, man. Like people dying, that's not dramatic. What are you talking about? Like, you think that would be dramatic? Come on. Like, just let her die, man.
And kamikazes his bat plane into something. And the Flash watches this happen, and his response is just, no! Like, that's it. No! It's mysteriously, emotionally held back, you know? I don't know why it would be the case when Ezra Miller is just such a great actor.
And that's a nitpick.
Sure. Everything else I've seen them do in this movie is just so fantastic. I don't know why they're so held back in this moment in particular. Why would their character not care that there's dead people? So the two Barrys are like, oh no, they're dead. That sucks. And Barry number 2 is like, wait, we can go back through time. I'm gonna start running now. And then Barry number 1 has to chase after him. And I guess they can both simultaneously occupy the Chrono Bowl, where they can turn back time. And
like, your tone implies that this is silly, but I mean, I don't know. I think that's how it would work, so that's another nitpick.
Change things. So the two Barrys rewind time just barely enough to tell Batman to stay away from the thing that shoots his thing, and so that his eject seat actually works this time. But then Supergirl dies anyway, and then Batman fights one of the big things, the humanoid alien things, and he uses timed sticky grenades, and he like sticks one on one part of him, and he's like boom, and it doesn't kill him, and he sticks one on another part of him, it's like boom, and it doesn't kill him, and he sticks another one on it, and instead of it going boom, there's a long dramatic pause where Batman, I guess,
Are you serious right now? There's a pause? Wow, this is such good criticism.
falls over and gets up, and the guy's like slowly walking towards him, and then it explodes. So Batman used his dramatic timing sticky grenade as the third one that actually killed the guy. He knew it would look cool, so he did that. He wasn't that concerned about his own life. He just wanted to do something that looked cool. And then he just falls over and dies anyway, and we get more bland, generic, insincere, fake, sad music to accompany his death while the Flash is like, oh, well, I'm over top of your body now as you're dying. Look at my eye.
You can't be fucking serious, man. Oh no. Wow, you hate this guy so much. Wow. This is just outrageous. You're just so unhinged. Oh yeah, man, this is so insincere, dude. Like, everyone must have neurotypical emotions. Otherwise, it's unacceptable.
Or something, I don't know. It's just like a lot of other movies. You see, this is like a movie now.
Look, I'm just happy every time I hear just a small amount of Ezra Miller, you know. Even when he just grunted there while holding that, it still lights up my day, you know.
Hey. Be okay.
Hell yeah. Give me that Ezra Miller grunt.
Hey. Hey.
Yeah, I'm not getting tired of this. Well done. This is good editing, YMS.
Hey.
This is totally worth your time and mine.
Hey.
Okay, man.
You're gonna be okay, baby.
You're gonna be a gay baby.
Maybe some other time. Harry.
Cut it out!
And none of this matters because they just go back through time again anyway.
You can't be serious. It doesn't matter because they go back in time anyways. That is the whole point of this movie, is that they keep trying to change it, but then they can't, you know? Like, this is actually meaningful. I don't know how you can possibly say it doesn't matter. They're repeatedly trying to save their life, but then, like, one of the Barrys didn't think it would be good to go back in time, so he had the meaningful death. But then the other Barry's like, nah, gotta save him. So, like, there's conflict there. You're not like, oh yeah, it didn't matter. Shut the fuck up, man. I think that was like 5 nitpicks for that whole sequence.
They just go back to the Chrono Bowl. And I guess that every time they do this, they're creating another universe or going into another existing universe. So they're just incredibly astronomically lucky that when they get back to that fight scene that everything's not entirely different. Like, I understand how Batman was trying to explain it with the spaghetti earlier in the film. He's like, oh no, it's not one line that goes into 2 different paths. These are 2 completely separate paths that meet at a point. And so at this exact point, things are going to be exactly the same. And sure, if you only think about it on an extremely small scale of just like, oh yeah, the mother went shopping for tomatoes and that was the moment where the timelines met up, but it was actually a different timeline, then as long as you don't think about literally anything else that's taking place in the world, then that kind of makes sense. Like, what exactly is the radius or distance of things that need to be the same?
No, you're not understanding this. Like, it's actually everything, it's the same. That's why, like, if they change anything, it stays pretty much the same. You know, they don't go back far, so there isn't much butterfly effect. That's why it stays the same, you know? But then when he goes back and changes more things, then things change a lot. So you see they changed the past, but then the past still leads to the same present, you know? Like, the present stays the same, but the past was different and the future is different, you know? That's how it works, apparently, like the spaghetti. So it's not, the radius is infinite.
Same at this point in time for the 2 timelines to intersect. Because if literally the entire universe, or even just the planet, was the exact same as the other timeline at that point in time, then it would be impossible for things to have been different before that point in time. Like, physically, it would be impossible for things to wind up in the exact same space if there were entirely different things happening before that point. There really is no part of 2 different timelines that would intersect if you really think about it. Because even if we're looking at something like Barry moving a can of tomatoes into his mother's shopping cart when he was a child and his mom was at the grocery store, for the first Barry's and second Barry's respective timelines to truly intersect, would there not also have to be an Aquaman somewhere else at that point in time? Even if we were to say that there was a
I mean, there could be an Aquaman, but maybe he's just with the Atlanteans and he never revealed himself. Like, I don't know, that time might have changed, you know, but then, like, I'm pretty sure that Aquaman becoming a hero happened after Barry's mom died, you know? So that doesn't defy logic.
Radius of like 10 feet surrounding Barry, and that it's just that specific moment in that specific area that's the same between the 2 intersecting timelines. It's still not the same because one of those Barrys has different memories and experiences.
Oh, are you serious? Yes, of course the experiences will have been changed by the timeline. Yes, obviously. But, I mean, it's just the experiences. Everything else stays the same.
One of those Barrys has memories of Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future. The other one does not. So it's not really an intersecting timeline. Nothing matters.
See, I was thinking, where was that thing where they changed the Back to the Future thing? I couldn't remember, but I guess it was the Flash. So that was good to know.
And you're just making shit up and they just do whatever and there's no real rules and nobody ever dies and there's no stakes and there's no consequences and the movie's just a bunch of fucking bullshit. Whatever.
I mean, no, that doesn't seem to apply here. Like, he went back in time to save his mom, which changed things before and after the time where he saved his mom. And then Aquaman didn't come out as Aquaman because things changed, you know, even if they were unrelated to the mom specifically. But then, like, at that moment, they were still the same, you know, when, like, when they changed. Because that's where the spaghetti intersected, you see. Yep. So maybe, like, if you're thinking of the soups, like, the soups all ended up in the same place, and that's why these two, out of the infinite possible universes, these two lined up, because like, all the soup came out in the same spot. But then, like, whatever happened before, how the soup got there, maybe it came on a different truck, you know, but then it ended up being in the same spot at the same time that we were changing the thing, okay? So that's how the past of the event had been changed without the present of the event being changed, okay? Do you get it? I mean, I'm just explaining what Batman explained. I don't have a much greater grasp, but I'm pretty sure that what YMS is saying here isn't valid.
They keep going back in time into the Chrono Bowl, and they keep trying to save Batman and Supergirl, who are still the correct Batman and Supergirl. There's really no reason why they shouldn't be different people. Like, even if they look the same, if it's a different past, they're not really the same person. What if one of these attempts is a universe where Zod's the good guy? What if you're helping Batman and Supergirl destroy the planet?
No, you can't do that, because, like, he's not going that far back in time. He's just trying to make changes on this battlefield, and Zod was already a bad guy then. So no. Like, pretty sure all these characters being different is... Okay, I don't know why the Batman has a different face. I guess that's weird, but... I don't know. I think that's just artistic license, okay? So the fact that they don't change into other people... Like, you're just gonna have to accept that as artistic license, alright? But otherwise, he's not changing wild things, you know? He's trying to keep everything the same and just keeping these people alive, and that's the thing that he can't do. But that's the thing he wants to do, and that's why he's going crazy.
You don't know. The entire past was different. The whole universe is mom's spaghetti. You don't know anything. As soon as you exit the Chrono Bowl and change something, then it's a different thing entirely. You don't know what happened before you got to this point. You don't know why anyone's fighting. None of this matters. None of this makes any sense. So the two Flashes just chill in the Chrono Bowl thinking about what to do, and they don't need to be running for time to be stopped, I guess. They can just stand and chill there.
I can't believe it. Like, really, this is it again? Yeah, they don't need to move. Shut the fuck up, man. I guess they've just mastered the time now that they don't have to run like crazy right now. I don't know. Guess they're just doing it with their mind. Like, how do you think that them moving their feet is gonna change, like, this magical bowl that they're in? Shut the fuck up, man.
I don't know why. And the second Flash just decides to keep continuing different attempts to save people, while the first Flash is standing there just being like, hey, bro, let's just think about this for a second. What are you doing, bro? What? Stop it. Also, if they're...
This voice again, man. Like, this is an important conflict of this movie. Is that this guy just keeps going without thinking because he wants to save people, but the actual Flash is smarter than that, and he's trying to stop this from happening. You know that. Why do you have to be so snarky about that? That is a valid thing to happen.
Going back in time and changing this shit, shouldn't they be duplicating themselves every single time they try to go back? Like, they both went back once. How come they didn't?
Yeah, maybe they should. You know, maybe they should. But that's not big enough of a complaint to make this about. This is still... Okay, it's not. This is in between nitpick and valid. Okay, because it's valid, but it's minuscule. Oh yeah, why didn't they make a million flashes? Shut the fuck up, man.
See Barry 1 and 2 there. There should be 4 Barrys after both of them try to go back to change the fight scene the first time. One of them continues to go back and do this multiple times, and every time he comes back, he's like, Barry, why don't you go out there? I need you in there. Where are you? But even if the first Barry didn't go back out there to help him, he was already there. So what do you mean he's not there? He is there because he was.
This is crazy. You're still going on about this. This is not important. Shut up.
If Barry number 1 stays in the Chrono Bowl and Barry...
Like, could you honestly imagine? Like, this movie is bad because, like, at this point there was a different Barry, but he wasn't there. Nobody will have seen this movie and thought this to themselves. This is a criticism that is so detached from anyone else's experience that it just blows my mind, you know?
Barry number 2 is leaving the Chrono Bowl to go back in time and change the outcome of the fight scene. There should be at least 3 Barrys fighting there, because the entire reason why there's...
You specifically would shit yourself if there were more Barrys, so what are you even doing?
2 Barrys right now is because if you go back in time and do a thing, there's another Barry there. They didn't go back in time yet. They're still there. You're gonna meet yourself. There should have been 4 Barrys fighting when they went back the first time. Why not? So the second Barry just keeps going out and trying to change things, and he keeps coming back, and he has a new injury every time. He's got more shit that's attached to him. And the first Barry is like, yo, Barry, this is an inevitable intersection. You can't save them for some reason. I've decided this now.
You know what? I think the reason why he couldn't save him is because he's standing in the bowl, you know? I think Barry 1 might actually have been at fault for this. He might have been able to just go back and change things, but then he's blocking that from happening by being in the time bowl. Isn't that crazy? That's a fan theory by me, the biggest fan. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's weird.
What, you just stand here the whole time?
Yeah, man. I tried to change the past, but you're stopping me from doing this. It's literally driving me insane.
Barry, this is an inevitable intersection. You have to stop. Barry!
The first Barry is just deciding that this is a canon event that has to happen no matter what. So you've got time travel and multiverses.
You know what? You're right. That is stupid. That this is a canon event, you know? Yeah, you're right. It doesn't make sense. Good criticism there.
But is it really time travel? You're just kind of going to a different universe, maybe? It's not really the same. Either way, the concept of fate is pretty fucking incompatible with this story. Like, no, this has to happen, even though I already went back in time and saved my mom. Like, what the fuck? You already did a thing that made it so that the thing didn't happen. Sure, you're technically in a different universe, but is that not what Batman said is happening every time you do this anyway? Shouldn't you be in a different universe now? Maybe you're not going back far enough. Why don't you try to save your mom in like a different way? Just go back and save your mom again and do something slightly different, and then this time it'll be like, oh wow, everything's really weird, and maybe there won't be a Zod. You never know. Just
yeah, man, just go to the ponies. Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong about this one, but yeah, whatever. I mean, like, this is all time travel movies. All time travel movies are like this, okay? People go back in time. That's cheating. It's not okay. And then the universe decides to punish them for it. And then they have to fix it by preventing themselves from doing it, okay? Like, this is most time travel movies, where time travel is bad and you shouldn't do it. And if you do it, you get punished, okay? So I'm glad that the ponies are here to lecture you on this.
roll the fucking dice. Ah, yes, Back to the Future starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. You might as well
That would be the best timeline.
try, you selfish asshole. You got what you wanted. Batman and Supergirl just don't matter to you. What the fuck? So now Barry number 1 is telling Barry number 2, like, oh, I went back in time and
I mean, like, it clearly didn't work, you know? He got his mom, but then he lost his powers, and he lost Aquaman, you know? It really wasn't a good choice, and you're probably just gonna keep making it worse for everyone, so... do in fact cut out the time travel. It's not working for anyone.
Initially just to save mom because she died, and now I have to undo that. And I don't know why he's suggesting that. Barry number 2 is like, no, we can still save her. And Barry number 1 is just convinced, like, no, I gotta go back and have my mom die. Obviously, that's why we can't save Batman.
Yeah, I mean, that is true.
Have you even considered that the reason Barry number 2 is making...
Oh, look at that! Look at this!
Save...
We got the helmet gone. So now the scar is actually useful for telling who is who. Isn't that wild? Oh my god. Could you imagine using a scar to... Whatever.
Batman. Have you even considered that the reason Barry number 2 is making all of these unsuccessful attempts to save Batman and Supergirl is because you're not helping? You're kind of just...
True. But still, it would just make things worse.
Staying in the Chrono Sphere? What is this called? What is it? Chrono Bowl? You're just chilling there while the other Barry's trying to save people, and you're like, no, listen, we've got to not try. I saw Batman talk about spaghetti. Trust me, this is the spaghetti zone. You don't get it. I've decided that these are the stakes now. Nothing matters in this film. This is what Bruce was talking about with the spaghetti.
I mean, he did, in fact, try it a lot, you know. It really doesn't look like it was working. Saving people, you know. And he kept getting wounded. And I was already pretty certain at this point that he was going to get that... He was going to become the villain, you know. So, yeah. You can't have time travel. It breaks everything.
Spaghetti! He points at the cooked spaghetti and says, some strands run almost parallel. There will be inevitable intersections, and others that are just wildly divergent. And from that essentially throwaway line about inevitable intersections, Barry number 1 has determined that not only is this one of them, but that this is even what he meant by that?
Okay, you're going on too long, so you're getting another nitpick. Come on, man. It's... Just get with the spaghetti math, okay?
Again, I'm asking for Batman's credentials on time travel and multiverses. Is this just like a fact? Did they teach you this at Bat School? Barry, this is what Bruce was talking about. It's an inevitable intersection, okay? It's gonna fail no matter how many times we try, even though I'm not trying and you're the only one that's trying, and it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy that I'm doing right now. That one sentence that he said while making spaghetti is influencing whether or not I try to save the
Yeah, every time you keep going on about this, that's another nitpick.
lives of many people. Yeah, fuck this universe, bro. It's an inevitable intersection. I'm the hero of this story. What? No matter what we do, this world dies. I've tried maybe twice to change it, and I've decided that there's nothing we can do. Even though we could theoretically turn 2 berries into 4 berries into 8 berries into 16 berries into 32 berries into 64 berries into 128 berries, etc. Based on the logic of this film. Based on the fact that there's 2 of you right now.
I mean, like, obviously that wouldn't work. Like, obviously you wouldn't have a larger number of berries. Of course they're missing in a different universe. Like, come the fuck on.
This universe is gonna die. Also, why are you saying that this universe is destined to die today when it was also explained to you earlier that by changing the past, you are creating different universes anyway? Isn't this universe solely just the one attempt that you made the first time? Did you not create another universe by making another attempt? Is that not what was explained earlier?
Like, he just keeps going on about this. Yes, whatever, man. Like, it's okay. Let the movie have a story, please.
Wait, he's Batman? It's so stupid. Nothing matters. It would be one thing if this movie was just a gigantic shitpost and they were playing on the fact that it didn't make any sense. Like, oh, this movie...
I mean, they did have Nicolas Cage as Superman, so... Like, can we accept just some silliness, please?
movie's a joke and it's supposed to be bad and it's ironic or something, but the film is presenting itself as if there's actual emotion in these scenes. Like you're supposed to be sad that the main character can't save anybody because he said that that's the case, even though it doesn't make any sense. Oh, I'm so sad watching this movie because he wants to save them, but he can't because he said that he can't. So I'm sad because I believe what he said. Don't know why he said it, but that's what they're telling me to feel sad with this music, so you know.
You're still going on about this. This is blowing my mind, man. Like, how long do you have to cry about this? Yeah, at some point, you're gonna have to make a call like that when you're messing with incredible volatile powers like time travel. In fact, you might want to use them as little as possible, and if you've already used them like twice and it didn't work, like maybe stop. Everyone will tell you this about time travel. Do not mess with time travel.
Sometimes we just have to let go. Let go of Mom?
The actual serious tone that they're presenting while they're like, oh, Barry, not every problem has a solution, bro. Wait, he's Batman?
Can't do anything about it. Oh.
He believes that this is an inevitable intersection because he tried saving Batman and Supergirl twice, or 3 times maybe, and it didn't work. So then why does he also think that his mom dying is an inevitable intersection? That's what he's implying, right? When he says, oh no, I have to go back and kill my mom because that's a thing that's supposed to happen. You can't change the fucking past forever.
Okay, so this is really blowing my mind here. So we have Mom being saved, okay? And what do we have? No Aquaman, terrible Batman who's a hermit, and we have Zod invading and he's winning. And that's just from saving Mom. And you think, let's mess with it some more. Brilliant. You are so good at this, man. Like, yes, of course, we should use this really dangerous thing more, even though it's already threatening to destroy the world. Yes, please, let's use it some more. This is really good, you know? This is what heroes do. They just mess with timelines until they become hideous monsters who just, like, mess everything up. Instead of what actual heroes do, which is to revert the mistakes that they've made in order to restore, like, the world that was working. I cannot believe that he is not grasping this.
Everything you want to do thing, guy. Like, he did save his mom. That was a thing that he was able to change. That is very clearly not an inevitable intersection. Also, the different times that you tried to save Batman and Supergirl had different results. Batman survived for longer on one of those times. Like, we all die eventually, so you did change that timeline by making Batman live longer than the other time that you tried. What's to say that you can't make him live even longer than that? Is this movie suggesting that Supergirl is weaker than Superman? Because didn't Superman, like, do something about the whole thing that happened here?
Yeah, isn't Supergirl always weaker than Superman? What the fuck are you talking about?
I didn't watch Man of Steel, but I'll get right on that, actually. So then the Barry number 2 is like, well, I'm gonna keep trying, you asshole, and then the guy from earlier that punched him out of the Chrono Bowl shows back up.
Even if the two were the same strengths, she was in a ball of kryptonite or whatever, I don't know, for her entire life, and you think, oh yeah, she's gonna kill Zod, you know, no problem. Are you serious, man? Like, I know it was just a throwaway comment, but yes, she is pathetic compared to Superman. Thanks for clarifying.
It's an evil-looking guy. He's like, I'm evil. Then a part of his mask thing comes off, and he's like, oh, the scar on your face, you're the other Barry.
Oh, look, the scar was important again. Wow, isn't that crazy? I mean, you knew that, and you still wrote it in. Like, yes. It's a pretty... This is a pretty load-bearing scar. It's very useful to us so far.
You're the Barry too, but in the future. Wait, he's Batman? As if we needed the scar on his face for him to figure that out. Pretty sure every single person in the audience figured it out before you.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it was obvious, but I mean, to Barry it wouldn't have been. Like, why would Barry know about this? Like, he didn't specifically get a good look at the guy who punched him.
You, Barry. I guess he never would have figured it out if that specific part on his face didn't break off and reveal that scar for him. So then for Abs...
Yeah, I mean, it is sometimes pretty hard to consider that a version of you might become some kind of Hitler, you know? Like, that is, in fact, a thing that you wouldn't just assume. Like, even if... I mean, I guess we could have seen it coming, but I forgive him for it, okay? I'm sorry that you don't.
Absolutely no reason a hole opens in the Chrono Dome sphere thing, and there's a...
Yeah, dude, absolutely no reason. It sure is weird that he was right about that thing, about how they can't change it, and now things are collapsing because they were trying to change it. It's fucking weird, isn't it? Guess the Spaghetti Man was right.
Bunch of other universes that they can see that are colliding and collapsing in on each other. Theirs is fine, but they can all see that those other universes are doing badly, and this is where we get a bunch of terrible looking PS3 graphics references to other Superman and Batman things. One of the Superman universes is black and white. That canonizes the black and white Superman films as, I guess, just films that were shot in a universe that didn't invent color, and not an old black and white film made about a universe where color exists.
That is how that works. Okay, so I think that's a nitpick, even though it's a funny observation. Like, yes, that is I like that they bring those back, and I hate the fact that you can't even accept this one little funny thing, and you're like, no, this doesn't agree with the rules of the universe.
Interesting. We see Nick Cage Superman, very Reddit of you movie, very cool. There's a bunch of references.
Yes, it was in fact cool.
And everything's canon now. Every DC movie ever made is in the same universe, and it's all canon. Nothing's rewritten, I guess.
I mean, some of those just get wiped out, so I don't know. They might be gone now.
And I hate to say it, but you're late to the fucking party, DC! This is old now! It's not interesting or surprising, it's basically expected at this point. You're just doing the things that Marvel did. Get your own fucking identity. You know what the film's
like, this has a lot of identity. I don't know what you're talking about. Sure. I mean, that there, okay, but it's all worth it because we got to see Nick Cage Superman, alright? So, no, you can in fact reuse things that are good, okay? Maybe you should get over it.
Joker and the Batman did that made them so successful? They weren't just trying to copy shit that Marvel was doing. They were doing their own thing. This film is an unintentional parody of everything wrong with DC movies and superhero movies in general. It is such a Frankenstein's monster of a film. This is the film equivalent of sewing a bunch of dead body parts together and passing it off as a living human being.
What are you talking about, man? Oh yeah, man, this movie is truly an unholy abomination, man. Like, this fun romp, it actually defies all laws of man and gods, you know? Like, it shouldn't exist, it's so bad. It is in fact necromancy. Yeah, man. I'm sure it raped some children too. Can you just look at the movie and not just talk random bullshit that doesn't make any sense?
This whole multiverse shit is so old by this point, too. Fucking A24 beat you to it, DC. Just go home. What is this? Everything's canon and nothing matters. And Barry 2 gets stabbed by his older future self, which causes the older version of Barry 2 to disintegrate. Like, oh, I'm disappearing because if the previous version of myself dies, then I would not grow up to be here. So it's like I was never here, except it's happening in real time for some reason. But going by that logic, shouldn't Barry number 1 also disintegrate? If Barry number...
No, he's from a different universe. This guy is from the same universe. Like, he is specifically this same Barry that's gonna go forward to become this man. These two Barrys are like disconnected, but I don't know how you don't understand that, but okay. But yeah, that's definitely another 2 nitpicks for you right there.
Number 2 got stabbed and died before he was able to become the evil super Barry that's older, then he also wouldn't have punched Barry number 1 out of the Chrono Zone, and he wouldn't be there. If we're going by that logic, which I would have to assume the movie is trying to imply, if one of them is disintegrating right now, then why is it entirely selective about who's disintegrating? Shouldn't the older version of Barry number 2 be as unaffected as Barry number 1? Because every time they go and change a timeline, it creates a new thing, right? Did the older Barry number 2 not change the timeline by punching Barry number 1 into the thing that the Chrono Splash Zone? Both of them are just changing things and creating different universes every time they change things, so both of them should equally not be affected by it, right? The older Barry was also changing things and theoretically creating new universes every time, right? Right? Whatever. Nothing matters then. They do what they want and nothing matters.
I mean, I guess it's possible that your like view of it is makes more sense, but I don't know, man. Like, it's pretty obvious that the 2 Barrys split off from each other, whereas the future bad Barry was in fact like our bad Barry who was gonna who was gonna keep changing things until he became that time monster. I don't know, man. Unlike the good Barry who decided to stop changing things so he would not become a time monster. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe the time that he was punched, he was actually thrown into a different universe in a way that created a different Barry. Maybe that was the deal of the time Barry all along. Who knows?
So the 18-year-old version of Barry number 2 now dies in Barry number 1's arms, and Barry number 2's like, tell mom that I love her. Sad, insincere, sappy, bullshit, generic music.
Oh yes, like telling his mom he loves her? No, that's so insincere, you're right, wow.
Music plays, and it is genuinely parody.
Like, how could that possibly be insincere? Oh yeah, tell mom I love her. You insincere fool. How... You mother? There's been no indication that you love your mother. Please. What? You are so insincere right now. YMS, you are cancer. This is terrible. You have reached a new low, okay? I had pretty low respect for you after that Super Mario thing, but this is just... You're blowing my mind right now. How can you possibly call someone insincere for thinking of his mom when he's dying? When this movie was so much about saving the mom, you know? Ugh.
Level.
Hey.
Yeah, feed him up.
Hey.
Alright, I'm skipping.
Dead now. My head's gonna go back. I'm dead now. Oh, I was holding the little doll that we were talking about earlier. It's a monkey. Mom called his monkey. Oh, I'm dead. This is a serious, sad scene and not a very unintentionally hilarious scene.
Yeah, I mean, it is sad. I guess you're just a full-on psychopath, huh? You're like, oh man, he died and he saw his childhood toy. Man, yeah. Like, how ridiculous that is as a concept, you know?
Okay, the sad music is playing, so you're sad now. So Barry then immediately goes back in time to the grocery store, and he actually sees his other past version of himself putting the tomatoes in his mom's cart, which reinforces the idea that there should be several Barrys every time that he changes something, but okay, there wasn't the other times. And he immediately ignores his own advice and his own excuses for letting people die just minutes ago. He walks walks right up to his mom and is like, oh, you don't know me, but I'm just visiting my mom. And she's like, you look like you need a hug. I'm gonna hug you. All right. So I think this tier is CG as well. I think they CG'd a few tiers here. It kind of just disappears nowhere. It doesn't leave any residue anywhere. And the drips are so long. Like that looks fake as fuck, right? That looks very fake. Okay. And it was all very convenient for this character that he got to hug his mom and talk to her for the last time, even though the only reason she's dying is because he's fine with it. He's just decided that it has to happen for...
You just don't grasp it, do you? Like, you can't mess with the timeline, or else the universes collapse. We've been shown this explicitly, yes. Well done. He does need to let her go to save the universes.
For some reason. We've tried nothing and we're all out of ideas. She just whispers in his ear saying things like, your mom must be very grateful to have you here. She's very lucky to have you. She must love you very much.
I'm very lucky to have her. You have to tell her that.
God, just fuck already. And so the Flash slows down time so that his mother is frozen and he just kind of walks around the store, thus reinforcing the idea that he can just decide to slow time down. He doesn't really need to be running, I guess. Look at this. Look at this. It's so obvious. Look at this. There's just CG tears everywhere in this movie.
Again with the tears?
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Is that not how tears look?
Looking. They have yet another really sappy and insincere song choice, implying that we're supposed to feel sad about his situation even though he's causing it. He could just decide to not do this.
You're really so stupid, it hurts. Wow.
You know? There's nothing preventing him.
Yeah, dude, just become evil Barry and just mess with the time as much as you want, dude. Like, we haven't learned a thing.
How is anyone supposed to take this seriously? So after saying goodbye to his mom for the last time and knowing she's going to die, he decides to move all of the tomato cans to the top shelf so that when his dad comes to the store later while his mom is being killed, he will be forced to look up when he grabs the tomatoes and thus be caught on a security camera and have a solid alibi against killing his wife. So he shows back up to whatever the present is, I guess, and he shows up to court just as his dad's lawyer is giving a very dramatic presentation of the security camera footage. This proves my client's innocence, and everybody's like, woo, yeah! So he decided to kill his mom and let his dad be free from prison, and this is fine now.
You know what? That is true. That they really made that artistic liberty of deciding that he can have this one win, okay? Because it's technically in the future and not in the past. But he did change a lot with those soup cans, so yeah. I mean, I guess he's changed less than if he had done what he did before, which saved his mom's life. So I guess the things he changed were in fact less, but he probably still shouldn't have done it, you know? So that's a valid point.
What a great main character, guys. Very relatable. Dudes rock. And, yep, at the end of the movie, there's a George Clooney Batman, because it turns out he created another universe, but I guess he's just gonna continue living in this one. He's not going to try any other approach to saving his own mom. He's just going to let her die a horrible death. He's not even gonna try and, like, I don't know, scope out the crime scene and just see who did it. Like, you can go somewhere and slow down time and see what happened without anyone knowing that you were there at any point. Would that not be the least intrusive way you could change the past? And also, I guess it doesn't matter whether or not you're being intrusive because you had an entire conversation with your mom and hugged her and then moved the tomatoes anyway? Why don't you stop the murder? This guy could be a serial...
We know specifically that stopping the murder is not okay, because it would change too many things. I don't know how you're not getting this. Oh my god, dude. Yeah, man, that's the difference between good Barry and bad Barry. He doesn't change literally things that would mess with everything, you know? Like, moving that soup was fine. Having that conversation didn't matter because he was dead anyways. Oh well. I mean, yeah, I guess technically he shouldn't do any timed things, but yeah. He's allowed this one thing.
Serial killer. You're allowing countless more murders to happen for no reason. I hate this. Also, how...
Yeah, man, just go back in time and stop, like, Cain from killing Abel, you know? Like, imagine all the murders you could stop. Cut it out, man.
How come there's no second Barry in this universe? He shows up to court and everyone's expecting him there and he says hi to his dad and everything.
Well, I'm thinking that the reason why there's 2 Barrys is because the evil bad guy specifically created 2. I don't know. I guess it's strange.
But this isn't the same universe that he left from at the beginning of the movie. So shouldn't there be a second Barry that he runs into in this universe, just like the other time that he changed the tomatoes and created a new timeline or whatever the fuck?
Well, come to think of it, he did make this choice himself this time, whereas the other time he was pushed. So maybe that's what did it. I don't know.
Happened? Why is he the only Barry there? Where's the other one? If you want the movie to be this stupid, then release it as a shitpost comedy or something. Stop pretending that there's any real drama in this film, and stop pretending that anything matters and that there's actually any consequences.
You are unhinged. How are you, with a straight face, saying, oh, there's logical inconsistencies, so maybe you should just shit on the floor and eat your own shit? Like, please leave. You have made errors, so you are now an invalid creator of movies. Also, I personally despise the main character. Yes, I am YMS.
So yeah, George Clooney Batman, haha, funny, that was a reference. They did it at the end, so he's in it, the movie. The end credits had a reference to an OK Go music video. I wasn't expecting that. And in the post credits, Barry runs into Aquaman, and it is still Jason Momoa. And it seems as though the only reason this post credits scene happened is to essentially tell DC fans, hey, this is still canon, okay? You can still buy a ticket to Aquaman 2, because everything he's doing in that movie is gonna still be a part of the universe that isn't being scrapped right now. It won't be a waste of your time, guys, I promise. It'll actually mean something.
I can't believe that you're thinking that people would not have bought a ticket because this scene wasn't there. Like, really? I mean, I don't know if you're, like, being really retarded on purpose or if it just comes natural, but no. This is not... We just like seeing him again, okay? Jesus.
It's all a part of the same story. So yeah, I am exhausted. I have been yelling about this movie for a long time over the course of several days. It's really incredible contrasting this to, I don't know, the new Spider-Verse movie. The new Spider-Verse is probably the best looking film of the year. And despite The Flash having twice the budget, it is the worst looking movie of the year, decade, I'm not sure. This movie was an
You're wrong. It is definitely not the worst movie of the decade. What are you even talking? Did you know that Skinamarink exists? Shut the fuck up, the worst movie of the decade. Fucking imbecile.
Unbearable mess. I was uncomfortable for the entire runtime.
Well, that's good at least. At least your discomfort gives me joy.
Ezra Miller is very annoying. They suck. I cannot stand one of them, let alone 2. This movie made me want to Andy Machete my own fucking head off. And I'm giving this one a 1 out of 10. You sure as hell deserved it. I'm done. I'm tired. Thank you. Bye.
What's stopping you, you know? Just do it, you know? Just what's stopping you? Alright, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. Now let's do the math, you know? That is what everyone likes to see, you know, the math. Alright, we got 8 valid criticisms, plus 78 nitpicks, which is my objective math, and I will never be wrong, and you will all... I'm always right, okay? So now we have 8 divided by 89. And that gives us a 9% accuracy for YMS. He is slightly better than Mauler. Well done. Who would have guessed that in this 1 hour video you in fact made more good points and had fewer nitpicks than Mauler did in his 6-hour video. Well, I guess probably everyone, but still. You are marginally better than Mauler with his 7% accuracy rate. Objectively determined by me, by which criticisms are pointless. Yeah, that's it. Nitpicks are when you are wrong, and it's a minor point. Is that right? Whatever. There were eight moments where this video made sense, and then there were 78 moments where this video did not make sense. So now you know. And it only took you probably 2 hours. There probably wasn't enough to cut out here, so this is probably a 2 hours video, so I hope you enjoyed it. Yep. Can you believe this guy? What do the comments say? My heart goes out to all the VFX artists who almost certainly crunched over this piece of garbage. You deserve better. Oh wow, I'm surprised that he's getting people to agree with him here. The fact that DC has hailed this thing as their No Way Home will never stop making me laugh to this day. Wow. This video was really terrible. This is how movie criticism goes to die. You should feel bad. You can shut the fuck up. Oh, I shouldn't swear, otherwise I'll get cancelled. What I do? I mean, I'll be hidden. You should. Yeah, I will just say STF. You should shut the fuck up about not liking the main character. You can just watch movies with actors that you actually like. It is not anyone's responsibility to cater to your specific casting preferences. I'm great, and I'm good at typing these. Yep. Alright, well, subscribe for more anti-reviews. Can you imagine? I took... You know, I said I would make 4 games in a year, and I probably will. And yet I have time to watch this fucking garbage. Isn't that crazy? Shut the fuck up, man.